The cafeteria was always loud at lunchtime, but that day, the noise wasn't just from the clatter of trays or the chatter of students. It was from laughter, the kind of laughter that didn't warm the heart, but cut straight through it. The kind of laughter that made 13-year-old Emily Scott freeze in her seat, hands gripping the armrest of her wheelchair. Emily had been born with spina bifida. Her legs never worked the way other kids did, and her wheelchair was her lifeline. But she had never thought of it as a cage, it was her freedom. It allowed her to wheel herself into the library, join art class, or just sit outside under the oak tree during recess. She'd had that same chair for nearly 3 years. It was worn, scratched, and the cushion was faded from the sun, but it was hers. She was halfway through her turkey sandwich when it happened. Tyler McCain and his group of friends swaggered over, grinning in that cruel way that made Emily's stomach twist. Tyler was bigger than most kids his age, a self-appointed king of the 8th grade. He leaned down, his shadow falling over her. "Hey, Em," he sneered, "does this thing have turbo mode?" Before she could answer, 2 of his friends moved behind her, their hands gripping the handles. Emily's heart raced. "Don't," she started, but they didn't care. They spun her wheelchair hard, sending her spinning in dizzying circles, her lunch tray sliding off and spilling onto her lap. The laughter around her swelled like a cruel wave. Then Tyler did the unthinkable. He leaned down, yanked at the wheel lock, and before Emily could brace herself, they tipped the chair onto its side. She hit the floor with a painful thud. Gasps erupted, but no one moved to help her. Tyler's friends yanked at the frame of her wheelchair, bending the metal, snapping a spoke on one of the wheels. They ripped the cushion and tossed it like trash. By the time they stepped back, her only means of mobility was a twisted wreck of metal and rubber. Emily's eyes burned with humiliation. She wanted to scream, to fight back, but the only thing that came out was a choked sob. The cafeteria supervisor was nowhere in sight, and the kids who watched only shuffled away, afraid of being the next target. What the bullies didn't know was that Emily had an older brother, Daniel Scott, who had just come home from a deployment in the Marines. He hadn't told her he was coming. He wanted to surprise her by picking her up from school that afternoon. But when he stepped through the cafeteria doors at that exact moment, the surprise was on him. Daniel's eyes scanned the room, searching for his sister, and then they found her. She was on the floor, trembling, her chair in pieces beside her. Tyler stood over her, still laughing. The sight made Daniel's chest tighten with an anger he hadn't felt since his last mission overseas. The room went silent as Daniel strode forward, his boots echoing on the linoleum floor. The bullies froze. Everyone could see the way his shoulders squared, the way his jaw clenched. He wasn't just some guy, he was a soldier. "What?" Daniel's voice was low and steady. "Did you just do to my sister?" Tyler stammered, trying to laugh it off. "We were just joking around." Daniel stepped closer, towering over him. "Joking? You think leaving someone on the floor without a way to move is a joke? You think humiliating someone who can't fight back makes you tough?" His voice didn't need to rise, every word was a razor. Tyler's friends started to back away, muttering excuses, but Daniel wasn't done. He crouched down beside Emily, helping her sit upright. "I've been in countries where people protect each other, where they risk their lives for someone they don't even know," he said, his voice shaking with controlled fury. "And here, in my own hometown, I walk in to see my little sister treated like this. You have no idea how weak this makes you look." The cafeteria supervisor finally appeared, her face pale, and rushed to call the principal. Tyler and his friends were escorted out, their bravado gone. But the damage was done. Emily's wheelchair was destroyed. She couldn't get to class. Daniel refused to leave her side, carrying her out of the cafeteria in his arms. Over the next few days, Daniel fought harder than he ever had in the Marines, but this time, his battle was against the school district, demanding they replace her chair immediately and enforce anti-bullying policies that actually protected kids. He organized a meeting with other parents, telling Emily's story. He even reached out to his Marine buddies, who showed up at the next school assembly to talk about respect, courage, and standing up for others. Emily's new wheelchair arrived in less than a week, sleek, lightweight, with custom wheels that sparkled under the light. It was paid for, not by the school, but by a community fundraiser Daniel had started online. Donations poured in from strangers across the country who had heard her story and wanted to help. But the biggest change wasn't the chair, it was Emily's spirit. For the first time, she felt like her voice mattered. She joined the student council and helped create a peer support group for other kids who had been bullied. She started speaking at assemblies, telling students exactly how it felt to be treated as less than human, and what it meant to finally be seen. Months later, Emily wheeled herself into the cafeteria again. Tyler was there, sitting alone. She didn't stop to talk to him, she didn't need to. The tables had turned. She wasn't the scared girl he could push around anymore. She was the girl who had survived it, grown stronger, and had an entire community behind her. Daniel sat at a table in the corner, watching her with pride. "You did it, kid," he said when she rolled over. "No," Emily smiled, "we did it." Moral: true strength isn't in power over others, it's in protecting them, lifting them, and standing beside them when they need it most. Call to action for viewers. If this story touched your heart, I want to hear from you. Comment below with "Stand up for kindness" if you believe no one should ever face cruelty alone. Share this video to spread the message, and don't forget to subscribe to Be Kind Always for more inspiring stories that remind us, kindness is the strongest force we have.